Along the journey of being a creative and really paying attention to the ways in which I've been successful over the years, I have seen a bit of a pattern develop. And really what it boils down to is these 3 steps: inspiration, emulation, and innovation. And I didn't make them all end in ation, but it's kind of convenient that they do, because it kind of makes you remember it a little bit better. The song we're composing already exists in potential. Our work is to find it. My advice first and foremost would be to find out what you want to create by paying attention to what you enjoy consuming. Which creators, when you see their work, their output, really inspire you to go out and take photos? Which creators do you envy? Like, in a healthy way, I mean. So you would like to create the things that they create. So whether it's the work itself that they are creating, or even just the lifestyle that they've been able to create for themselves. When you get inspired by somebody, I think it's really important that you take the time to really, I guess, dig a little bit deeper into their work, exactly what makes it profound, what makes it interesting to you, and just write those down in dot point form. I think it's really important to write things down, because some things, especially emotions, feelings that you get when you look at somebody's work, they kind of exist in your subconscious. So it's just that process of bringing that from the subconscious to the conscious mind, and writing those down is a great way to really get a grasp and understanding of it. This could be one specific creator who inspires you, but I really urge you to try to find multiple sources of inspiration. Now, you do not need to know exactly who you are to begin with. I think that's really important. Inspiration gives you a direction, a rough direction. And this is why inspiration is step number 1, because it's within the other 2 steps of this 3-step process where the exploration and finding who you are, or creating who you are, actually happens. This is the part that gets you out of bed in the morning and creating. You don't want to look like your heroes, you want to see like your heroes. Now, you're probably thinking, emulation, you mean like copying, right? Well, yes, but mainly no. The best way to figure out how an engine works is to take all of the pieces apart and put it all back together yourself, step by step. It's still not your engine. You didn't create this engine, somebody else made it. But in order to create one of your own with slightly better parts, maybe an engine that suits slightly different needs, you need to understand how the things that already exist work. So I'll give you guys a practical example. Back when I first started shooting wedding films, I'd been approached by a close friend of mine to film a wedding, and I really just didn't know where to start in terms of the editing. But I knew what was already out there. I knew what inspired me, what kind of work that I wanted to create. So I found a particular piece of work that I thought was fantastic. And what I did was I watched it second by second. And I actually had a whiteboard in my room at the time, and I drew a massive flow chart of everything that happened from shot to shot. How did the music sound, and how did the music transition? How did it go with the vision? And I created this entire flow chart, which I could essentially just copy myself. And that's essentially what I did with a few of my first wedding films. The couples, the locations, everything was completely different, but the structure was exactly the same. It helped me to see that something that seemed like magic to me, I had no idea like what went into the process, it made that look and feel actually achievable. Sure, because it wasn't my structure, it's not something that I put together, that I created, it wasn't mine. But it allowed me to visualize the process and understand that it's not out of reach for me. This is possible. But of course, it doesn't end there. Good artists copy, great artists steal. Once I'd built that wedding film, I'd gone through that process of understanding, okay, what is the structure? How does this work? How do I pull this off? I also knew that I couldn't just be a carbon copy of those filmmakers. And there are so many reasons why being a carbon copy of another person is honestly the worst thing that you can do as a creative, which I'll go into probably in a separate video. I understood why the structure of the film worked, why certain shots created more impact than others, and how to use music to build anticipation. Now I could begin to tweak that blueprint to make completely different films, iterating and testing different structures and techniques. And I had also began adding other techniques that I learned from other creators that inspired me. So what started with emulating something else turned into an understanding of the process of creating that work and exactly what went into it, which led to innovation on that process, adding things that are personal to me, things that I have experimented with and found that add even more impact. And I think these 3 steps are the bare bones of almost everything that I have done that has become successful in my creative career. So to recap, inspiration, find what you want to create; emulation, take it apart, break it down, recreate it as best you can; and innovation, build on top of it, make it your own, and keep going. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Pretty quick little insight into the creative process. And let me know if you guys have experienced something similar, whether you have unknowingly or knowingly gone through this process, being inspired, emulating, and then innovating on that inspiration. Wish you guys best of luck in any shoots and projects you have coming up this week, and I will see you all in the next video.